Hello again, welcome back. We started on the hull of the gun, the German mortar, railway mortar. As you can see, I've already painted much of it. I'll go into a lot more detail in a second or two. And many of the wheels have been painted and all the bits. And what I've done essentially is I've started section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and number 7 we've gone to. Put it all together, that's number 7. A lot of fiddly bits on this, and starts off with all the wheels. There's an awful lot of them. As you can see, make 16, make 16, make 2, make 2. So these little ones assembled fairly easily. You've got to be careful to get them precisely lined up though. They do wobble until you get the glue on them and get them lined up, so you need to be careful on that. And these, exactly the same thing. What I found was I had to brush paint the inside of it, each wheel in there. Where's a marker? Pointer. Inside there before I assembled it, otherwise you wouldn't have been able to spray it. It's you might have got away with this side, but not with this side. You'd have left shadows on it all over the place. So I brush painted inside them. Other than that, they went together fairly easy. I'm surprised they don't turn, and they don't allow them to make them turn, but they don't. That's entirely up to them, I suppose. So 16 of those, 16 of the smaller ones, 2 drive wheels, two drive cogs, and sprockets as you would normally call. Under this hubcap, there are several photographs for this. There's a lot of photographs. Under this hubcap is quite an intricate gear system, and then you put the hubcap on and it vanishes. Hey ho. I don't quite understand that one. The idler rollers, fairly simple, just 2 wheels to go together. Again, I painted the inside before I assembled them. And what I did then, that's all the wheels. This bar here goes directly onto the hull. That's I can't see the number. Doesn't say the number. P2, section P2, P1 and P2. That goes directly onto the hull, and it sits behind all these pieces here. So it's on there. That could go on before it was painted, obviously. For reasons known only to myself, I guess it's because I'm getting old, I forgot to put those on before I painted it, and they would have fit on and been painted quite nicely. But hey, it's not the end of the world. I'll put them on later. On the next section, on section 3, it says to assemble these. Make 7 of these, 2 of these, 7 of these, and there's another one with 2 to be made. Make 2 of these here. Again, quite a lot, and a lot of bits to go on to making those. Again, there's a lot of photographs to accompany this video, but these pieces here, as you may be able to see, you can, even after filling and sanding them, you can see the seam on the top, and they really did take a lot of filling and sanding. Each and every one of them was the same. What else we got? Oops, I did put these pieces in H22, and they fit in on there, and you need to leave those to swing back and forth for when you put your tracks on, your wheels, your rollers wheels and your tracks on. Okay, so all of those swing, but again, there's no reason why they can't go on and then be painted. Nothing too difficult on there. As I say, a lot of filling though, a lot of filling on on these in particular, the D sections, D, C and B there. On to section 4, which basically says put the tracks on and put the wheels on and the tracks on. I don't think that's a great idea at the moment. 2 reasons. One, the tracks are these rubbery things, which I don't think, for the money that I've paid for this kit, I don't think that's acceptable and enough detail personally. Each to their own, of course. You know, if you want to use them, use them. What I did, however, and we'll go into them in a little bit more detail in a second or two, is bought the track kit to assemble them myself. So I'll show you that again in a second or two. I put on, there's just 2 little bits apart from the tracks and the rollers on there. These 2 bars, these 2 here, quite a lot of work, and again a lot of filling. And not only is there a lot of filling, there's some very small bits go onto it that are really quite difficult to stick on. These here, for example, and underneath. But more importantly, the top rail, the top rail and the bottom rail have to be stuck on. So that's quite a task, and you need to be careful doing it, otherwise the whole thing will become distorted. So all these little pieces have to go on. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. All these little pieces have to go on there, and then the top and bottom rails themselves have to be glued on. It then says to put the caps onto the wheels, and then infers that you would then put them on the, actually I don't know if it does, and then put them on the rail. Then these are the bearings for the idlers at the top there. The way I've done it, of course, is I've glued them on here, painted them, and then I'll fit them all as time goes on when I come around to doing it. These little pieces here are these here, and you can't put them on until you put the idler wheel on. Okay, and then it's on to section 6, which is basically the same thing, assembling the idler wheels as it's the road wheels as it's going along. This little piece here, M11, that just drops into the hole here. Down there, you can just about see him down in there. I've painted the inside of the hole because I don't know how much of it's going to be shown, how much is going to be seen when the kit's finished. So I've sprayed the whole of the inside of it black, and I don't think you'll be able to see much of it, so I don't think it'll make that much difference. So that's why it's black rather than the honey coloured plastic. So that's a whole page just on that one piece basically. The next piece, the last piece that I've done is section 7. Again, assembling the rails at the side and 2 inserts for to go inside the hull. Again, it would have left shadows, that's these here, and had I fitted them into the hull before I painted it, it would have left shadows. So it's easier to do it while they're out, assemble them together, then spray them, then put them in. So that's what I'm up to. These 2 ladders are off the steel frames. I've painted them grey as a primer coat, if you like, and what I'm going to do then is I'm going to make this look like timber and those look like timber with steel bars underneath. which is what I would think they would be. It's a pole ladder basically, and it's quite a long ladder, that, I'll tell you. It's not a short ladder, that. So so I'll make the edges look like wood. That is about what I'm up to. I've sprayed these parts on the sprue because it's easier to do it. There's going to be a little bit of patching up when painting, patching up the paint when all this is assembled. You may be able to see, again, there's a lot of photographs with this. This can be put in two different places, so that the tracks, when the tracks go on, okay, when the tracks go on, there are two different configurations. There's a firing mode where the road wheels are lowered down and the machine can drive on the run on the road wheels, and that tightens the whole track up. There's also a travelling mode, as you can see here, where the road wheels are lifted up, and that will be to keep them off the railway tracks whilst it's being transported. That causes a slack on both ends here in the track itself. That's the one I will be doing, because I'm going to build it as a whole thing, the entire thing, the railway wagons with the gun suspended in the middle, and that's how it's going to be displayed. So it wouldn't look right if these tracks were dragging on the railway tracks. Other than that, that's about where I'm up to. I'll move all this. The tracks that I bought for it are these. It's made by Trumpeter, so it's their own track. I think there's a little more detail in these. The instructions are simplified, to say the very least. It shows that there's a die so that you can put the tracks in. There's a die so that you can line them all up, and basically T2 goes into T. Simple as that. And it says here there are 135. Complete track for one side requires 135 links, and basically there's a lot of little bits in there. I shall open it up, and basically, as I say, there's an awful lot of little bits in there. There's 2, 4, 6, 7 sprues in there with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20 pins. There's a bag of bits. There are several bags of bits. The bits look like that, which is much more detail than there is on there. I'm sure you can see that. Massively more detail. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I think I've done the right thing there, and yeah, you can see without looking particularly closely that there's quite a lot of detail on those. So that's what the next part of the build is. There's 2 full bags of those. There's a little die on there so that you can line them up properly. Not sure how that works yet, but no doubt I'll find out soon. Oh, there we go. Sits on the pins, and then the little pin, one of these, goes through those tiny little holes there into that one. Interesting. No doubt I shall tell you of the adventures that I have with it. How difficult can it be, he said. That is about what I'm up to. Peg here because I've just had to rush out and get the washing in. that's about where I'm up to. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments box below. If you've enjoyed this video or it's been useful to you in any way, it'd be great if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Other than that, I shall see you next time when I've got this hull put together and I've got the tracks built and either ready to go on or on. We'll see. Thanks very much for watching. Ta-da!